Hello everyone, welcome to Talks with Manny, where I am your host Manny, and in today's video we'll be talking about episode 3 of Boruto. Now of course, before we get into the episode, I have to state that there will be heavy spoilers to this episode in particular, and perhaps the series as a whole if I end up running my mouth too much. So, be warned. Much like the other episodes in this series, I won't be going into as much as an in-depth review of the episode as much as it's a quick mini summary, a plot synopsis, and then just my thoughts at the end, because, well, we're really far past this in the anime currently, and I say this in every episode, so by now you probably get the picture. Well, with all that boring crap out of the way, we can finally start the plot synopsis. So, the episode starts off with Shino teaching Shuriken Jutsu to Boruto and his classmates. However, in usual fashion, the class ignores his instructions and start throwing shurikens while he's still in the middle of the practice field, because everyone in Boruto's class apparently is a bunch of dicks. The screen starts panning, and we see Sumire, the class rep, struggle, while Inajin and Shikadai, who were forced to practice because of their parents at home, they end up breezing through this exercise. Metal Lee practices with ease at first, and he cites his long training sessions in the mountains, but then when Shikadai and Inajin notice him, he gets all self-conscious and his performance starts to suffer, and he just throws the shuriken and it goes like 2 feet. Boruto enters the scene by throwing a gigantic Fuma shuriken at the target Metal Lee was running to while he was trying to pick up his failed throw. Metal, in the way of Boruto's shuriken, tries to think he can deflect it, but then everyone starts looking at him and he falters due to his nervousness, and then he gets his foot stuck on the shuriken and gets dragged into the target with the shuriken. Shikadai asks Boruto where he got that. Boruto says he has no idea of whose it is, but he was just rummaging through lockers apparently in the locker room and stole it. Iwabe comes out running, he was like, "Who the hell stole my shuriken?" Shino scolds everyone, calls them to his office, and then he commands them to do voluntary work, heavy air quotations. And the voluntary work they're supposed to do is to repair Naruto's stone face, which Boruto had broken with a freaking train like 2 weeks prior. After a couple hours of hard work, they take a break, and they notice that Lee's part is the only one that's missing. He gets anxious, and then he starts hammering the shit out of the stone face, and he messes up his carving, and then it causes the entire stone face to shift and crumble, nearly hurting himself in the process. At the end of the day, Shikadai points out the obvious to Lee, that he makes mistakes when nervous, and that sometimes it makes things worse for others. But Shikadai savagely continues by saying that even though he trains extremely hard, it ultimately adds up to nothing if he can't get over his nervousness. After the gut punch that was Shikadai's words, Metal gets hurt by his bluntness and starts walking home. Inajin then asks if that was really necessary, as if he's one to talk. And later that evening at home, Shikadai is scolded by his mother Tamari for getting into trouble. Shikamaru comes in shortly after, and he hears Shikadai's story and doesn't really consider it that big of a deal. In fact, he considers getting in trouble a part of becoming shinobi. Tamari then scolds Shikamaru as well for being too soft with Shikadai. The very next day, when Shikadai goes to apologize to Metal, Boruto notices the same purple chakra that had taken over Denki flowing out from him. Metal manages to lure Shikadai away and attacks him. Boruto and Inajin run after him and find him, and then Metal attacks both of them too. Boruto and company come up with one plan, and that is to run the hell away. Metal chases them all through the academy, and then he finally corners them near the shuriken training area where Shikadai comes up with a plan. Metal is distracted by Boruto's shadow clones and Inojin's ink birds, while Shikadai hides in the bushes and tries to grab Metal's shadow. Metal gets angry as soon as he finds out he's been trapped by shadow paralysis. He starts yelling and trying to break free, and then Shikadai is, surprised by his strength, so he tells Boruto to try and knock him out. Metal gets angry and breaks himself loose by accident and knocks himself out on one of the targets that they used for shuriken target practice the day earlier. As soon as Metal was knocked out, the dark purple chakra seemed to vanish. As soon as he wakes up, Shikadai apologizes to him for the day before. Metal accepts this apology, and they start heading to class. Later that day at home, Boruto asks his mother, Hinata, about the Byakugan and why he can see that strange chakra, but Shikadai and Inajin couldn't. Well, he doesn't exactly say that, he just asks about it, and he kind of keeps the fact that he can see this strange chakra to himself, which may not be the best idea. Hinata then goes on to explain the Byakugan's abilities, but Boruto only seems to pay attention when she mentions the fact that the Byakugan can actually see chakra, which cements in Boruto's mind that he has, in fact, a Byakugan. Naruto arrives at home shortly after the conversation Boruto had with his mother, and he was completely exhausted from pulling an all-nighter, and he just heads up straight to bed, ignoring the dinner that Hinata made as he was too tired to come down and eat. This angers Boruto, of course, because Boruto has to find yet another reason to hate his father, And after calling Naruto a stupid old man, the episode fades to black slowly, and then we come back for the episode-ending scene where we see Boruto, Inojin, and Shikadai skipping class, getting found by Metal, and then Metal says, "Hey guys, what the hell are you doing? Go to class." And then Boruto tries to play it off nice and slick, and he says, "Hey, if you play this video game, it'll get rid of your anxiousness." Metal's like, "Oh shit, no way." He starts playing the video game. They're all cheering him on for the boss fight. He gets nervous, cracks Boruto's game in fucking half, hands it to him. Boruto's all crying and everything. Episode ends. And now that we have that nice plot synopsis out of the way, we can finally start to talk about how I feel. Or I can talk about how I feel. And you'll just have to listen, I suppose. But anyway, in this episode, we get to see a nice little glimpse into Shikadai's family life. And let me just state, it's exactly what I thought it would be like, with his mother getting mad at both him and his father for being way too similar in probably the wrong ways. So it was really funny. It was a nice little way to break up the episode near the end there. We get to see another side of Naruto's work ethic that Boruto certainly doesn't like. His constant all-nighters that tear him away from the family, and the fact that he skips meals due to his exhaustion. I feel like Boruto, though, it's not so much the fact that he's angry at his dad for not being there. I think he's more angry at his father for not being there, of course, but like for not joining in at the end of the day, you know, to eat like a family. He just goes upstairs, passes the hell out, wakes up the next morning, does the same thing. He probably just eats ramen in his office or whatever. So I can understand why Boruto is mad at his father. Granted, it's not the best thing, but I don't know, it just seems a little much. And then Boruto, in this episode, he starts to begin questioning his ability to see this weird dark purple strange chakra, and it's starting to think that it's the Byakugan when, you know, Hinata says, "Hey, the Byakugan can see chakra," and then Boruto was like, ding, light bulb in the head. He was like, "Oh shit, I have a Byakugan." Easy peasy, figured it out. And that pretty much wraps up my entire thoughts on the episode, minus the, fact that Boruto, Shikadai, and Inojin combined couldn't beat Metal Lee. That was a little bit of a stretch, I thought, but what the hell do I know? Maybe they were just trying not to hurt him or whatever, or maybe Metal Lee is like stupidly overpowered or something, I don't know. But it was just a little weird. Fun little episode, I guess. Nothing really major plot-wise other than the fact that Boruto is starting to think that he has a Byakugan now, so maybe we'll see that play in later episodes. Ooh, and before I forget, when Metal is trapped by the shadow paralysis that Shikadai throws out, he gets like super angry and starts yelling and his whole body turns red. And I've heard people think that he actually knows the Hidden Lotus technique. He does not. That is not what that is. We could just attest that to the fact that he's screaming so loud his face is turning red. He definitely does not know any Hidden Lotus techniques. I can almost guarantee this. He does not. But that's all for today, guys. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't like it, and maybe leave me some constructive criticism down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. Peace out, guys.